Hello gamers, welcome back to The Rules Are Fun. I'm the Madcap Gamer and today we're going to be checking out the movie trivia game, Pass the Popcorn. Pass the Popcorn is a movie trivia style card game that is for 2 to 8 players, ages 12 and up, takes about half an hour to 45 minutes to play through. So let's have a look inside the box. Inside the box you'll find your 3 main components. There are trivia cards inside a box of popcorn, other trivia cards outside a box of popcorn, and your clue tiles. Now the first thing to note when you open this game up is that there are 2 distinct games inside. The first and most popular version of the game will require the trivia cards in the popcorn deck and all of the coloured clue tiles. The basics of the game are as follows. Like I said, it is a trivia game and each person will have a series of tiles in front of them that relate to clues given about the movie in the trivia card. These clues could be quotes from the movie, the storyline of the movie, the cast members of the movie, or the characters in the movie. Each time one of the players correctly guesses the movie on the trivia card, they can flip over one of the tiles from the clues given. To become the winner of the game, the idea is to be the first to flip over all of the tiles in front of you. So let's check out how to play. To start off, the players will place all the available tiles in the center of the board face down as follows. After this, each player on the board will take 2 tiles each and turn them up in front of them so they can see which clues they have available to them. The player who is the last to go out and see a movie will be the first reader of the round. They will start by taking out one of the trivia cards, which I'll break down for you now. Trivia cards consist of 6 separate sections. At the top in white is the general clue, which will be read out to all players as soon as the card is drawn. Next you have the yellow cast clue, you have the green characters clue, you have the red story clue, and you have the blue quote clue. Lastly, in black down the bottom is the name of the film, and that is the answer that the other players are trying to give. Once the general clue has been read out, the player to the left will then do one of 2 actions. They will put forward one of their tiles and request the corresponding clue to be read out, or they will swap up to 2 of their tiles with any other player on the board if they do not like the tiles that they have drawn. If they do this, then their turn is over and play goes to the next player who can do either of those 2 actions as well. Assuming the players are happy with the tiles that they've drawn though, they put forward the one that they most want to hear the clue from. Once the clue has been decided on, the reading player will then go to the corresponding colour and read out the clue aloud to the whole table. Now, anyone could guess the answer to this particular card at any stage during the readout. The player does not have to finish the clue in order for people to shout out the answer they think is correct. However, you only have one guess for each card. Once you have guessed and you are incorrect, you are out for the rest of the round and the rest of the clues. The other caveat is that you are only allowed to make a guess if your tile is in play. For instance, our player has decided to use the story tile, which means that everyone at the table at this moment can guess once the story is read out. However, if our player chose the quote tile, then they would be the only player in this round who could possibly guess the answer from that clue. If a player successfully guesses the clue, their tile is flipped over, the card goes to the back of the pile, and the deck goes around to the left. They are now the reader and it is their turn to read out the trivia card to the other players. If, however, the player is incorrect, they are no longer able to make a guess as stated, and play goes to the player on the left, who will put forward their own tile and get their own series of clues. Once the card is correctly guessed or nobody gets the correct answer, the card goes to the back of the pile and the reader now becomes the player to the initial reader's left. Play continues until one player is the first to turn over both of their tiles, and then the round is finished, that player being the winner. This is not the end of the game, however, as the next round will carry on with players again taking random tiles. However, the winner of the last round will take one additional tile. This will carry on until one player manages to complete a round by flipping over 4 tiles. They are the winner of the game, and that is the end of Pass the Popcorn. So let's do an example round. In this particular round, the card drawn has the generalized clue 1994 drama. The player to the left then decides that they would like a quote clue. Now the player to my right is unable to play this round as they do not have a quote clue, and the reader is not allowed to participate in the round either, so the player to my left is the only person allowed to guess this clue. If we go down to the corresponding quote clue, we would read out loud, "Mama always said, life is like a box of chocolates, you never know what you're going to get." At which point, the player to my left hopefully calls out the title Forrest Gump. At that point, they turn their tile over. The card goes to the back of the pile, and the deck shifts to the left. If you're one of those serious movie buffs, however, who thinks this game seems a little bit childish for your talents, never fear, the other deck of cards in the box is for you. In this version of Pass the Popcorn, or Pass the Popcorn Connections, the job of each player is to connect the actor who is on the table to an actor that is already in their deck. The connection made being that these actors appeared in a movie together. On each card you will find an actor's name, along with a corresponding points number which will be used at the end of the game, and a list of movies that they have appeared in. Now this will not be a complete list, this is a selection of movies that they have been in to jog your memory or help out those players who are less familiar with this particular actor or actress. The game setup is as follows. Each player is dealt 7 cards. The leftover deck is placed in the middle and the first playing card is drawn by the dealer. Now here's the thing, there is no turn system for this game, so each player will be frantically going through their deck looking for an actor that they know starred with the one on the table in a film that they did together. For instance, we could play Edward Norton, who appeared with Brad Pitt in Fight Club. Once this is done, players will then try to link Edward Norton to another actor in their deck, and so on and so forth. The idea of the game is to keep going until one player either gets rid of their entire deck, or there are no other cards that can currently be played. At this point, the round is called, and any cards left in the player's hands will be added together using the points printed on the cards. Basically, it's like golf. The lowest score wins. Obviously, if you have your entire deck gone, you are the winner because you have points at 0. If no one has completely gotten rid of their deck, however, it is the person with the lowest score who wins. You will occasionally find wildcards in your deck. These are worth a lot of points, so you want to get rid of them nice and quickly. With a wildcard, you can pick any actor you like, and you put it down saying they starred with whichever actor in this particular movie, and the next player will have to match the actor that you've named on your wildcard. Now, you do not have to match actors with movies that are on the cards. As said before, this is just a selection of movies. So if you know that someone appeared with Edward Norton in a film that is not listed here, for instance, you might say Michael Keaton starred with Edward Norton in Birdman and put that card down, that is a match. Doesn't matter that the movie is not on the card. Now, challenges is where this game gets competitive. Now, whether you're a movie aficionado or a novice, you might find yourself questioning cards that other players have put down. There are certain rules regarding challenging other players. If you are issuing a challenge, you need to mention the actor and the movie that was stated as them appearing together in. For instance, you would shout out, Edward Norton did not appear with Brad Pitt in Fight Club. When this is done, all players put down their cards face down until the challenge is resolved. Now, once the challenge is issued, you can use Google, you can go online, you can do whatever you need to do in order to satisfy the challenge. If the challenge cannot be resolved, however, then the other players at the table who are not involved in the challenge will act as a jury. If the challenger is correct and these people did not appear in the movie together that they thought they did, then the person who played the card must take their card back and also add 2 more cards to their deck as a penalty. If, however, the challenger is incorrect and it was indeed a match, then the challenger themselves is penalized 2 cards and has to add 2 cards to their own deck. Play then resumes as normal with all players simultaneously trying to get as many of the cards out of their hand as possible and be the winner of the game. So now you know how to play both versions of Pass the Popcorn. Now, why should you play these games? First of all, I'll address the elephant in the room. The second Pass the Popcorn or Pass the Popcorn Connections is really for those expert moviegoers, the ones that just know that Denzel Washington actually starred with Morgan Freeman in some random film. It's the one that will cause the most headaches for novice players who don't really know movies and they won't really be able to access this particular style of game. If, however, you've got a bunch of friends who are really mad movie fans and know all the IMDb stats for all their favorite actors, this is the challenge for them. It's also the easier one to set up and get playing. The game that I would recommend out of the box, however, is the other version of Pass the Popcorn, the main game. It's for its accessibility. I've used this game with family, with friends. It's a game for those that like playing trivia games that are maybe surrounded by people who are less interested in things like Trivial Pursuit and history and maths and science questions and things like that. There is enough challenge in the way that these questions are written, using the cast sometimes, using the story, using quotes from obscure movies to keep trivia fans happy and also to have those movie buffs get a really big head when they remember all these amazing movies and their usual trivia mates who are better at history and in science and stuff are getting their butts whooped. There is also enough strategy in the game with using particular tiles that other people don't have right at that crucial moment at the end of the game where we're going to decide who the winner is. That keeps the game very interesting and all the more nail-biting the closer you get to the end. So there you go, you now know how to play both versions of Pass the Popcorn. Go ahead and order yourself the game, and while you're at it, watch as many movies as you can before it arrives, just to give yourself a bit of an edge. I'm the Madcap Gamer, see you later, and keep on gaming.